Hey y'all, this is David, the Georgia photographer, and I am spooling up said stream for the second time tonight because the first time I wasn't actually streaming. I was sitting here like an idiot talking to the camera and it wasn't doing anything but laughing at me apparently. So now that we've got that sorted out and we're back on track a little bit, I have a few things to talk about tonight that are of kind of interest to me. And hopefully to you. I believe they will be. Just two or three little things. And we'll go down the usual rabbit holes like we always do. But to get things kind of started here, I want to do a shout out. I've got my coffee fund in my description of my videos. It's been on there for years. I don't bring it up a whole lot. I might say something about it once every 6 or 8 months. I might mention it, but occasionally somebody actually reads the description and finds it. And I've got a couple of people that have sent me some coffee fund money, and I'm gonna start naming them the enablers because they're buying me caffeinated drinks to keep me going. They're enabling the videos to be produced. So the coffee enabler team has its first 2 official members because I've just kind of created it today. And those members are Greg Cassidy, who joins the streams regularly. And if he jumps in here, I'll shout it out again. And Greg Magruder, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Greg Magruder sent some money to the coffee fund a little bit ago, and I didn't catch it. I somehow missed it when I was checking my PayPal. And I apologize for not saying something sooner and telling you thank you because I check it like once a month. I don't check it very often, but I do check it about once a month. And somehow I just missed it. I apologize for that. I do really appreciate it. And you can rest assured it's going to a good fund. And like there's teeth in this because I buy black coffee. So it goes a long way. Oh wow, Aaron just got off the road. Oh yeah, that's right. He had somewhere he had to go this week. We'll give him a bye if he don't join the stream. He's got things he might be having to do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. It really does. And tomorrow morning's photo walk will be brought to you by Greg and Greg. Now, let's see. Bass Angler. Oh, Bass Angler done throw down the gauntlet and Hassan ain't even checked into the chat yet. That's a good one. You're a loser. What did I do with my phone? I laid it down somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see. What's all this bedinging about? Oh. Okay, let's see. Trey's pestering me about this 13 colonies thing. Scott Patterson's in the house. There's Woody Mallory. Got your email, Woody. And that's one of the things I want to show on the stream tonight. If it's okay with you, I'm going to share that photo. That photo is epic. And I'm pretty sure you're good with it or you wouldn't have emailed it to me. That's awesome. Let's see here. I'm just going to tell Hassan the stream is up. There we go. We'll just let him know. Just in case he hasn't been aware of it. Okay to share. Thank you. I was hoping it was because that's a really awesome photo. Let's see here. No Victoria. Man, that's tough to say. I think I get the trick. All right, bass angler, Hassan's on his way. Good morning. Oh, you're on the other side of the planet. Wow, that's awesome. Where are you at? What country are you in? Just so I can see what kind of a global audience we're working with tonight. I normally will get at least one person from the UK, one person. There's Hassan. One person from Australia if she checks in. Sometimes a couple more from Europe, and occasionally a South American, but not often. Sometimes they just drop in, stick around for a minute, and leave. But I shall be avenged. You guys are having way too much fun in this chat. Okay. First thing up is this radio you see in the corner of the frame. It's called, I can't pick it up and bring it over because the coax, I rerouted my coax model. If you notice, that stack of crap ain't over here anymore. What I've done is I've moved the antenna tuner up onto the actual radio stack and actually repiped the coax to where just the coax stubs out under the bench so I can kind of keep this area cleaned off more. This radio allows me to do FT8 in here real easy, and I need to sync it with the internet about once every week or 2 weeks to sync the time, because it synchronizes its time with the internet, and that makes FT8 work. Well, since I do that, I keep a power cord in here for it, and it allows me to just coax it into my big antenna outside that the big radio's hooked to. So I just switch it on a switch, and I'm doing FT8. Let's see here, I got Poland, and ON3 is probably like Denmark or somewhere like that. And then I got there's a bunch of special event stuff going on right now. I don't know if you can see it in the video. The light's too bright on this white paper. There's a bunch of special call signs in a row right here, and there's some more on the page before too. They're over here as well. This is my logbook I keep in the house. But there's a thing that happens every year in ham radio called the 13 Colonies Special Event. And what happens is they get a ham in the original 13 colonies, one from each of those states now, and they apply and get a special call sign just for that state to represent it. And they use A through M. And so it's Kilo 2 Alpha through Kilo 2 Mike, K2A through K2M. And then they also added Philadelphia, which is, I got WM3PEN is a special event call for Philadelphia. And then they've got one for Great Britain and one for France. Great Britain's obvious, and France because they came to our aid. So I like Great Britain and France, and I was chasing them on this little radio here. It's currently on 17 meters. I've already been to, 15 meters. That's where I got the last state, and Philadelphia was on 15 meters. And then I was hoping I could get into Europe. I could hear them. That's how I got them other two stations. I was just confirming it and messing around, and ended up with a couple of European call signs in my logbook. But I'm just looking for them last two, and I've got the clean sweep, as they say. So hopefully it ends Sunday. So hopefully I'll knock them out tomorrow. We'll see. But okay, I'm making sure my mic is hot. Yeah, y'all can hear me. Okay. Hey, Ron's here too. Wow. Jay Barclay from Indianapolis. Nice to see you tonight. Thank you for dropping in. But yeah, that's what's going on right here. Is I've got my little radio running. If it gets to annoy me too much, I'll just shut it off. Actually, I can just do this. I don't have to listen to it now. And you can just quietly sit over there, and I'm watching for the call signs to go by. If I see them, I can just chase them, but I don't think I'm going to at this point. The band's starting to get a little weak. There's a website where they track them, and people will post where they found them so that you can find them easier. It's called DX Summit, and I've been chasing them through that pretty easily. It makes it a lot easier. Watched a video today from Scott Keys about the 600 phase Fresnel. Oh wow. Hey Ron, David is going to show a photo I sent him today. You should like it. We'll go ahead and jump to that before I get into the next photography related piece of business. Let me get back over here. Get the email pulled up. Where is the email? Gmail. Because I haven't downloaded it yet. I just opened it in the email folder and looked at it, and it was incredible. Okay. Woody Mallory sent me a photo today of now let's see. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. That'll do. All right, let's just go back to here. Transition over. There you go. Of an eagle they did a release on in, I think he said Virginia. Isn't that where you're at, Woody's Virginia, where they're doing this? Virginia Beach. But look at that. This has to be the most epic eagle photo I have ever seen. I love the angle. I love the wing position, how it's flexing the wingtip feathers up from the power of the wing beat. I mean, this is just awesome. I was like, dude, I got to share. This is like frame-worthy photography right here in my book. I was just blown away when he sent me this. You don't get that kind of photo very often. I thought that's pretty cool. So, Hassan likes it. Virginia, yeah. Last Life Entertainment. This is Craig from Son. Oh, hey Craig, how you doing? I've got you 2 cameras I need to bring you soon. Dude, that sounds fun. It already sounds cool. You use the D500? Ron's asking. Awesome shot. Thank you for dropping by, Craig. I ain't seen you in ages. We need to go shoot some photos sometime. Maybe this time I won't walk you to death. I didn't realize I was being so endurance happy the other day. That was kind of on me the last time we went. I should have picked up on that sooner. Let's see. He shot it with the 70 to 200. That's how close that bird was. He didn't need a 600 millimeter phase Fresnel for that. It was right beside him. Wow. Yeah, this chat's pretty lit right now. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to a different panel here. And I saw this video by Alex Barrera. Now, I'm probably pronouncing his last name wrong, but Alex has 27,000 subscribers, so he's fairly successful in my measurement system. You know, he's able to build an audience, so people listen to him. So I watched his video. He's new to me. I had just stumbled across him, but I saw this Leica SL3 warning, and I thought, okay, this is clickbaity. I want to see what he's got to say. I'm not going to play you the video. I'm going to give you the cliff notes. If you notice, it's only 5 minutes long. It's because he's serious. This isn't clickbait. He means it. He's a pro photographer. Okay. I'm going to transition back to me. I was covering up the part about his name and his channel. I'll put them in the chat. I wasn't able to do it here, but maybe I can do it like this. Yeah, here we go. There it is without me in the way. Now you can see his channel name is Alex Barrera. If you want to go look him up and watch this video yourself, he calls it the Leica SL3 warning. Stop using this camera. Okay. Cliff Notes version. The camera's overriding files on the memory card. And it's like actively doing it. And you can easily like set up this scenario. I think he said every time you change batteries, it resets the file naming sequence number to 1. So, you know, if it's DSC001 or whatever the naming convention is for your letters before the numbers, every time you would change batteries in this camera, it resets to number 1, and as it saves them, it overwrites the old file number 1. So if you just got through shooting, 500 wedding photos, and the first photos were of the family before the wedding started, it's overriding them if you don't realize it. And you're shooting the reception, and you're just blasting away, wiping out the earlier day photos. And, people are going to say, well, you should be backing up your cards. And I agree with that. You shouldn't have to worry about your camera overriding them when you change batteries. That should not be a problem. That's a problem. That's a serious problem. But he talks about how, if you watch the video, he talks about how a friend of his was shooting weddings with his SL3, and it was erasing the files actively. So if you have an SL3, check that. You may not have had a problem with it yet. You may download your photos, with one battery's worth of photos, and you haven't ran into this problem, but it could easily erase photos that you didn't want erased. So yeah, it's worth checking into if you have an SL3, because he was serious about it. And he's like, I think he shoots an SL3, and it was a problem. So I wanted to spread that information just to the people that might be using that camera, to at least check your camera. Make sure it's not overwriting your files. It might not be. It might be. It's worth checking. Let's see. Are you planning on doing some overseas travel soon? Oh yeah, let's see. Did you ever... Japan. Okay, yeah, he did tell me. He's in Japan. Nice. So we're representing at least the United States, Japan. I'm reading some of these names, make sure I ain't missed one. Georgia for sure. There's Somerville from Craig. Jay Barclay's from Indianapolis. Hassan's from South Alabama. Ron's from Tennessee. Woody is from Virginia, apparently, because he just did an Eagle release in Virginia. Is that a new firmware issue? I think it is. I don't know if it came with the firmware update or if it's been a problem the whole time and no one has just caught it yet. Not sure either way. Hassan says, unfortunately, Leica has had some real firmware problems with the M11 and now the SL3. I didn't know the M11 had issues. But to ask No Victoria, however you pronounce that. Hey, there's Roy Bixby. Got Australia on the game now. Let's see. The next place we're going will probably be Europe. And then most likely, we want to make our way back to Japan. I would like to spend a couple of days just wandering Tokyo doing street photography. I really would like to do that. I just haven't. The last time we was there, we were on a real time crunch. It was more of a family trip instead of a photography-oriented trip. I took photos, but I was honestly there more for the wife and daughter and just to kind of see it than it was, like I said, to try and get like street photography in Shinjuku or something. But at some point, I do want to come back to Japan. It's a wonderful place. There's Claire. Hey, how you doing, Claire? Thank you for jumping in. You all hit the like button. Thank you, Ron. Ron's figured it out. He knew the assignment. If y'all haven't done it yet, hit the like button. All them likes and stuff, and the little hearts in the chat help and everything. There's Delaware, John Larson. Hey, thank you. This is getting better and by the minute. If somebody knows, I'm going to switch you back over. If somebody knows this Alex fella and wants him to jump on the chat, let him know. But I don't know him, but it did serve me his video, and I watched it just to see what he was saying the warning was about, and that was what it was about. But yeah, if it's a problem, it needs to be fixed immediately. But I searched, here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to switch back. I did a Google search for Leica SL3, and I had in here overwriting images, and I search for firmware problems, and nothing comes up. And then if you take all that away, all you get is the release date, in stock, review, specs, price. It doesn't, like failure to save photos doesn't come up in the most popular results. Another thing I noticed is they're really pushing this whole answer with AI thing now. Look, the little thing's got a little thing running around it. This thing's jumping back and forth to draw your attention to it. This is the Brave web browser, as you can see. I've been using Brave for 2 or 3 years now. I just like it. This got this whole deal where it'll tell you if you open a new tab, it shows you how many trackers and ads it's already blocked by default, and how many minutes. 21,626. It just went up one more. Saved me 19 minutes of having to wade through that crap. But it went up again. Wow, these things are coming through fast. but yeah, I just thought that was kind of interesting. Was that A, it's pushing the AI thing pretty hard, and B, that the problem doesn't show up in the auto population at all. But yeah, I searched for it, and the first 2 or 3 pages don't have a single mention of it whatsoever. It's kind of interesting that either their PR machine's that good or no one's writing about it on the internet. But he was serious. It was pretty impressive to see that. Let's see. Was Ron here when we shared the photo? Here, I'm just going to switch it over to the new people joining us. Woody Mallory took this photo of this eagle. They done a release up in Virginia, and he is the photographer that gets to go see these releases where they reintroduce these wild animals back into the wild. And he was able to get this photo, and honestly, this is one of the most epic eagle photos I think I've ever seen. The whole thing about it is just awesome to me. I was making sure that radio wasn't seeing that call sign. But everything I was saying earlier, everything about it, from like the wingtips being bent, the angle of the wings, the head and the alignment, the eye, everything. It's just like one of the best photos of an eagle I think I've ever laid eyes on. It's just impressive. Hassan says, I'm loving my baby Leica. It's kind of like a Leica. Oh, and I don't know if y'all have noticed it yet, but I disabled ads during the stream. I was able to find the button to turn that off, so I didn't know it was doing it. It's on by default now, and apparently you have to opt out instead of opt in. So I dug around on the backside in the settings until I found that, and it's buried pretty deep. It's like they don't want you to find it real easy and turn it off. But I finally was able to shut that off, so y'all shouldn't have to see mid-roll ads in the middle of the stream. It should flow right on through. Let's see here. Randall Brander's here. How you doing today? AI and YouTube more ads, and if you buy for no commercials, in other words, if you buy YouTube Premium, live streams interrupted with another ad. You didn't get one just now, did you? Please tell me y'all ain't seeing ads in the middle of this stream, because I said I disabled them. I turned that crap off so we wouldn't have to look at that. Aaron was the one that brought it to my attention, and I forgot about it last time, but this time it should be off. We shouldn't be having to deal with that during the stream. Wow. I'm catching up on the chat. There's a lot happening here. Randall says, great video and no one else has mentioned it. Yeah, I thought that was kind of unusual. Except me. Roy Bixby says, I would have thought that Panasonic would have fixed any Leica problems since they made the electronics. I was in a hurry, so I didn't run my usual mason jar of water. I just grabbed my hydro flask and brought it with me. John Larson says, no ads here, but I'm on premium. All right. I've not seen an ad, and I have premium. Okay. Usually late November. Oh, he's talking about the things. Only problem is you can't make comments on live streams, so I switch over to Chrome for these. Huh. I didn't know that. This chat window is in Brave. So Brave web browser might be a choice for you. Good. No ads in Japan. Nice. So it's working. Good. Yeah, I was kind of frustrated when I heard that because I didn't want you guys to have to wade through ads in the middle of a live event. It's like, what are we doing here? So, let's see. I did the shout out, and Greg Cassidy ain't joined the stream. I was watching for his name a little bit. I'll bring y'all up to speed. I have had a link to I have a coffee fund. It goes into a PayPal account, and I don't bring it up much, so it don't see much activity. Somebody found it in one of the descriptions of my videos. I copy and paste it to the descriptions because I have a block of data there where I talk about, like, if you want to go to the website and all that. Well, it's in that, so I copy it automatically, and I just don't think about it anymore a lot. It's just kind of there. Well, I mentioned it here a while back, this out of the ordinary or out of the way, and I checked it the other day. I normally check it once a month just in case, and I found Greg Cassidy had donated to the coffee fund. I just want to thank him. Well, while I was there, I was looking at the activity on the account because my eBay account flows through that same PayPal, and buying lenses and stuff. Well, I found Greg Magruder had also contributed to the coffee fund. So I wanted to say thank you to him, and it had been a month or two since that had happened. So I didn't want him to think that I wasn't appreciative of him helping me with, caffeine to make the photo walks much more enjoyable. And it was just like, how did I miss that? Because I check it, like I say, I check it about once a month. So I don't use it a lot. Like here lately, I haven't been buying a lot of stuff on eBay. But yeah, I appreciate the support. And now, from this day going forward, the people who support me on the coffee fund are going to be known as David's Enablers, the coffee enablers. So if you want to be an enabler, you know how to do it now. Links in the description. Let's see, is the radio doing anything interesting? No. Y'all can actually see it. This radio right here, this is a software-defined radio. It's actually powered by a Raspberry Pi micro single-board computer. It's right in this corner. That's why it's got a USB keyboard plugged in and a USB wireless mouse plugged into it. I can actually drive this radio with a mouse. Y'all can't see the mouse hardly. Trust me, it's there. But yeah, it actually has a desktop. I can minimize the radio. That's the desktop. Like, it has LibreOffice. It is a touch screen. So like I can touch it and bring the radio back. So in the field, I use it as a touch screen. And I don't, sometimes I'll take the mouse, but most of the time I don't. I don't take the keyboard ever. Like there's very little that you need the keyboard actually for, but for what I'm doing with FT8 tonight, that's why I have it plugged in. You can actually type in a call that you're after, and you can type it into the box and then call them instead of just answer calls or call CQ, which are just a single mouse click option. And you need the keyboard, really. I mean, it has an onboard keyboard right here. It brings up a little keyboard. You can type it in there, too. It's just a little more clunky. That works really smoothly, though, with an external keyboard. So I use one. But Yeah, the big radios back here don't have FT8 natively built into them, which is like a digital mode. Sounds kind of like a phone modem when it's transmitting. It'll make, well, let's see. I can make it make the sound pretty easy. Let me just find an empty spot in the waterfall. Right there. Both sides are clear there. Let's turn the audio up. Let's see. It'll finish in just a second. It'll do it. Here we go. You probably can't even hear it. I don't know. It's kind of weak on your end. Yeah. It does it for like 15 seconds. Ooh, that moved the whole camera. I'm going to stop that because somebody will inevitably answer me. I'll turn the volume back down. We'll see if I actually get a QSO out of that deal. Call 1CQ and then stop. Oh, I got one. I thought I'd stopped it. Well, I did. Whiskey 7Z Romeo answered me. Fortunately, this is an almost completely hands-off mode. It will complete this operation by itself and automatically put it in its logbook for me. It's pretty sweet, actually. It allows you to do like admin tasks while it's doing its thing. Yeah, we logged it. I completed the contact while I'm on stream. Oh, Randall, thank you so much. That's awesome. Comment on that Carmen's video, which I also subscribe to, had a great comment on not needing to buy a Nikon Z6 III. You had me with the first picture. Oh, you saw that. Yeah. I really like Carmen. He's cool. He's been a follower of my channel for ages. And I don't know if he knew how to work the algorithm, but if you look at him, his channel has been a runaway train success story. He started out, yeah, it's back to listening now. He started out just a year or two ago, and now he's closing on 100K. Dude, he come out of nowhere and just went nuts with success. But thank you so much, Randall. Appreciate the super chat. That's awesome. Let's see. Can I do this? There we go. That's awesome. Bass Angler says FT8 will make you hear aliens. Sounds kind of like it. It sure does help with the QSO count at a Parks on the Air thing when you can't hardly hear anything else. You can hear FT8 can make contacts when the Morse code section is just impossible to hear. And you can hear Morse code a long time after you can't hear single sideband anymore. When the voice gets to where you can't hear it, you can go to CW and talk. When CW gets to where you can't hear it, you can go to FT8 and keep going. It's incredible how weak the signals can actually be, and it will be able to decode them. It's pretty impressive. Roy addressed Hassan and says, some Leica and Panasonic models appear to be the same. And Hassan's answered him and said, basically, because they are basically the same base camera, but with different firmware from each brand and even different features. And what he's referring to is that Leica and Panasonic have had this mutually beneficial agreement for ages. Since Leica has been making digital cameras, they've been working with Panasonic on the electronics. And that's where they got their stabilization. Now, I don't know if the Maestro series processors are marketing and it's actually a Panasonic processor, or I don't know. I don't think anybody does. I think it's a trade secret. But, you know, they process their image data differently from a Panasonic. The photos will look different coming straight out of camera. You can take both raw files into Lightroom, and most likely with a little bit of editing, you can probably get the exact same image. That would not surprise me at all. But if you do like me and shoot straight out of camera for a big portion of what you do, the Leica colors coming straight out of camera are incredible. It saves me from so much time in the editing to just use straight out of camera JPEGs. I use a ton of straight out of camera JPEGs. I shoot the RAWs, and occasionally I'll edit one, but for the most part, I'll shoot them JPEGs and just live life. All right, Bass Angler, we'll see you in a minute. The Z80 is coming. I can feel it. That's what Ron said. I like your idea of the Z80, but I want it to be the Z90 or the Z70. Z70 makes sense because it's a D7000 replacement. The Z80 would be somewhere in the, what? They don't have anything in that region right now. They don't have a Z90. Like, there's no D9000 either. Whew. Excuse me. So I don't know what that would be, but yeah. Honestly, if they come out with that camera, it'll be a tough choice between a ZF and that thing for me to shoot wildlife. Because right now it's the Z50, the FTZ, and the 500 phase Fresnel is my wildlife rig. And we all know how fast everything works with the Z50. So if I could get a faster autofocus system that's a little bit better at focusing, I'd be all about it. And the ZF has it. It has it hands down. And I can I have the 1.4 teleconverter. I can just stick that on there and it'll, extend my focal distance on out to where I get the same field of view as running it on a crop sensor without it. It does add glass to the equation, but I haven't noticed any problem with my photos. My TC 1.4, 14, Gen 3, whatever teleconverter seems to be very good glass. Randall says his Leica M8, his Q3, and his SL2S are great cameras that he owns. Yeah, I've wanted to mess with the SL2S a little bit. I like the idea of its video functionality. I shot some video on my SL2, and if you shoot it tripoded, it works good. But I don't know about like all the tracking and all of that. I haven't really tested it. I've just shot with it a time or two and set it up on tripod. When I did the video review on these wireless lav mics that I got, I used the SL2 for that because I could put the receiver on it and pop it into the camera. That way it could record straight to the camera. That's how I found that the audio coming out of the Z50 was a little tinny compared to the SL2. SL2's got better audio processing in it. The preamps or whatever in it's better. Hassan's talking about his S9. Says, my new S9 has the very popular Leica monochrome profile LUT. I am loving the LUT setup on the S9. See what they have slipped around and got into Leica's programming software in Wetzlar and downloaded that profile. I do. Now, when I had my XT3, I enjoyed shooting monochrome. It was a lot of fun. It really was. I would set it. They had two different versions of monochrome. I think one was called high contrast black and white, and one was just black and white or something like that. And I loved them both. Excuse me. And they also had a bunch of film simulations in it that honestly produced very compelling filmic results, like the Kodachrome one that they had that was simulated Kodachrome. I don't remember what they called it. They had one that was similar to Kodachrome. I'm gonna give me a drink of water here. Woody says the Z8 has too many megapixels for him. Excuse me. I mean, the SL2 is 45 or 47. I don't remember which. It's a lot. It's like an 8300 by 5000 or something. So it's a lot. But the files, it sure is nice to have all them megapixels when you want to like readjust the image and, you know, pull it down a little bit to get something out of a corner. Because I'm one of those people who fails to look at the corners in camera a lot. And there'll be some little distracting thing in the corner that I can cut out and still have a bajillion megapixels. They do eat drive space. I will give you that. They will straight up consume some drive space. Whenever I share them, like Sunday, I'm going to a Sacred Harp singing, and I'll use my SL2 and the 105F2 DC Nikkor. And those pictures will come out of camera. They'll be straight out of camera JPEGs. And the raw files, depending on what the light looks like, if the color temperature of the light's pretty good, because it'll change throughout the day. And it's because more sunlight comes through the windows in the afternoon than in the morning. And then the fluorescent lights in the morning are the dominant light. So, you know, it'll change color temperature through the day. So I end up sometimes in the afternoon having to pull the afternoon session photos in and just color correcting the white balance. And, you know, once I get it like I want it on the first one, I just copy and apply to all. And that way the white balance is fixed. And usually that's all I do. Sometimes like the metering will meter off of somebody's white shirt, so it'll make the photo darker. So I'll raise the exposure every occasion. You can look at them on the film strip and see the dark ones occasionally. So you just scroll across, you see that dark one, open it up, raise the exposure a little bit. And they'll be good. And then when I get them out of Darktable, I'll export them as the long side will be 2,000 pixels. So I down res them because I'm going to put them on Facebook in a photo album. Well, everybody's going to look at them either on their phone or on an iPad or on their computer screen. And the bulk of the people I know don't have 4K monitors. There's people that do, but the bulk of the people still have 1920 by 1080 monitors. All three of mine are 1920 by 1080 that I'm using right now. There's a 27-inch, a 24-inch, and then a 15-inch. I bought a 15-inch monitor. I think it's OLED. It's a flat panel monitor, and you actually can charge it and run it without power hooked to it. But I've got it down here for the chat, so I can see the chat. Remember I was telling y'all about that a few weeks ago? I did it. I broke it out and done it. That D500 Ron's using for wildlife, that thing is incredible. They're gonna have to really, really, really bring their A game to top that camera. I mean, let's be honest. The D500 set the bar high when they came out with that machine. You know, they almost shot themselves in the foot. Like, it's so good on its autofocus and its tracking and things that they made it to where it was almost impossible to top it. You know, it's like having your first large album as a band go platinum. Well, how are you going to top platinum out of the chute? You're at the top of the mountain already. It's only down from here, you know. So it takes a long time to come up with something the best. So that's probably why they haven't come out with their new crop sensor machine. That's their high-end crop sensor machine, like the D500 was, is because they're having trouble getting something to do as good as that one does to this day. That's what Rodney shoots with. He loves it. Oh, Lord. You're shooting at 20 frames a second. Dude, you're talking about a gigabyte of information every second, because they're like 45 megapixel files. That's insanity. Occasionally, if I'm doing pan and blurs, I'll set it to like high speed continuous, and I'll shoot my pan and blurs, and then I switch it back to single, or I'll set it to continuous low speed, where it's about a half second cycle, or maybe 1 a second, somewhere in there. I don't remember. It's some kind of a much slower rate where you can fire singles with it, or you can hold it down and it'll just keep taking photos. And I like to run that mode because, you know, if you're just trying to catch somebody maybe smoking a cigarette at a light or something, and you're wanting to like catch them maybe doing something more interesting, and they're moving around a little bit, and you want to maybe get a better angle, you can just start firing them frames at a nice slow rate, and it's slow enough it can constantly keep the buffer clear because it can ride them as fast as it can shoot them. And yeah, I'll just sit there and pop them off. A lot of times I break the cardinal sin. I'll delete in camera in the field. Don't tell anybody. I've been known to do that. I've been known to cull them in the camera before I come home, especially at Sacred Heart singings. I'll take 5 or 6 of somebody that moves around a lot, and I know there's a bunch of blurry ones. Once I get the photos I like, I'll sit down. A lot of times I'll bring it up to my eye so I can see it better that way. And I'll just go through and I'll save the one I want and delete the rest of them. Saves time when you get home. Saves a lot of time. Woody says, I'm holding on to my Nikon D500 until Nikon makes a true replacement. Woo, yeah. Randall says, as we get older, our vision gets worse, so I can read better at 1920 by 1080 to be able to see the text. So on my 4K TV at 200 plus, it's the same. Yeah. Randall says it's set mine to 3 at a time. Z6 III is excellent because of small file sizes and no buffer problems. So yeah, because of that XP7 processor, 24.5 megapixels is just right. A lot of photographers want the cropping and high megapixel resolution. I like 24 megapixel files. Oh, my knee. Sorry about that, y'all. Oh, the camera bag is already in the truck. I took it out today and I left it in the truck. It's not in the sun. We have a carport and I keep the truck in it. There's plenty of videos of me in the carport. So, but that's what I like about the Leica CL. And it is a crop sensor, but it is 24 megapixel. And it's 6,000 by 4,000. It's not something like a 6,083. But, you know, Nikon does these real weird row and column counts. I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah. I shoot a lot with the CL because of the 24 is plenty of megapixels. It is. It really is. Roy says with my eyesight, my 8K monitor is overkill. 8K. That's 16 of these. 4 of these makes 4K. Yeah. So yeah, it would take 16 1080p monitors to make an 8K monitor. Wow, it'd be a whole wall of these things. That'd be insane. Wow. I don't know that I've ever seen an 8K monitor. That'd be impressive. Yeah, y'all know my eyes. I don't know if y'all can see that or not. You can see the ring light in my glasses. See. Here, though, you really can't because the angle's a little better. All right. We're checking. UR4 MSF. I don't know where UR is from. RK4FF is Russia. See, told you. FT8 will go. RY9C. Well, he's kind of weak. He probably can't hear me. This little radio on this band. Let me see. Am I clear? Let me see. Yeah. 15 watts here. Let me stop it. I'm synced up into a slot where there wasn't anybody, so I was checking it first. But yeah, I'm only 16 watts with this radio on 17 meters. The lower you go in the bands, the more wattage you get, but it's because of the way the engineering is done on the power amplifier. But to get to Russia, I would need a gain antenna, and I don't have it. So their signal report to me, usually, like when I got Pennsylvania earlier, he was negative 10 dB, and I was negative 21, which is like 12 or 15 times weaker. So, you know, he was probably running a 100-watt radio. Randall says, all right, David, what about the Leica Deluxe 8 Micro Four Thirds with incredible zoom? I'm not a big Micro Four Thirds fan. To me, the sensor gets so small at that point that you start having to rely more heavily on algorithmic, or what they call that the iPhone uses. It's like software photography. They do a lot of processing to the image to get rid of noise and things like that, because the sensor is so small. Or you just need a ton of light. If you got plenty of light, it's a great camera system. You know, it works fine at studio photos. Micro Four Thirds would be great. It really would. Because it doesn't matter how big your sensor is, as long as you got plenty of light to expose the photo sites with, they'll still do a great job. But from everything I've seen, I mean, Olympus done okay working it. Now, their stabilization was on point, but yeah, I'm not a fan of Micro Four Thirds. I'm firmly in the, what you'd call a APS-C and 35 millimeter full frame. I looked at that whole GFX deal for a little bit. That don't impress me either. I mean, it's impressive, but that's a slang term. It means I'm not interested. You know, some people might not, you know, be from the South and understand that. But yeah, that's why I'm sticking to those two formats, because they generate the photos I like. They work wonderfully well. But I like the Deluxe series cameras. The Deluxe, what was it, 6 or 7, was a wonderful looking camera, and I really was interested in one of them for a while. There was something about them, though, that pushed me away from them, and I don't remember what it was at this point. I was considering one, but my CL basically did everything it did, and I already had it, so it really didn't give me any reason to get one, since I already had a CL, and then I got the SL2. It was just kind of, I don't see the value in it for me. Somebody that wants a nice travel camera, it'd probably be a wonderful travel camera. Roy says, I wish Leica continued with their medium format S2 series. Yeah, the sensor on the S2 wasn't as big as the GFX sensor, but it was bigger than full frame. I don't know the sensor size. I don't know the like 40 by 50 millimeters or something like that. It was bigger. The lenses off the S series cameras will fit the SL cameras, and they work beautifully. Because the guys from Leica Store Miami will run them that way occasionally. But they're enormous. And I think they have leaf shutters in the lenses. I don't remember for sure, but I think they do. But the software in the SLs will actually drive them, because they've used them, because they're L mount. I'm pretty sure, or no, they've got an adapter, S to L adapter, I think it is. Because they make 3 or 4 of them adapters. They've got the M adapter L and the S adapter L, and, you know. John Larson says, I've had a Deluxe 4 for almost 15 years. Wow, that's impressive. My CL has kind of become my general purpose camera. If I'm just grabbing a camera to take with me, I'll grab the CL and I'll put a 35mm f1.4 lens on it. I've got the little TT Artisan 35-1.4. It's a tiny lens because it's designed for a crop sensor. So they make it smaller. All of the M-mount Leica lenses are full frame. So they're larger glass to project a larger image circle. Well, if you can project onto a crop sensor image plane, you can make the lens smaller physically. And that thing don't weigh anything, and they take really good photos for what you're paying for them. It's like 85 or 90% of Leica lens for 1/50th the cost. It's ludicrous how much cheaper they are. Seriously. Like, I think I said I paid $72 shipped to my door for a brand new TT Artisan 35mm f1.4 L-mount lens. Snapped right on the camera, brand new. I'm pretty sure it wasn't like a open box brand new. It was a brand new. Like, the factory tape was still intact on it, and it wasn't sold as a refurbished. It was sold as a new lens. Some camera shop on eBay was selling off some surplus inventory, and I bought it. I was blown away at how good it is, and I've used it a bunch of times. I since then have got the 35095, and it takes really good photos, but it's a lot bigger. To get the glass to go 2 stops bigger, to go from 1.4 to 0.95 is, I think it's 2 full stops. You go, or it's maybe 2 1/4. 1.4 to 1, and then 1 to 9.5. I think is how that works. 0.95. I'm pretty sure. It's significantly more aperture. I've played with it at night. That 0.95 can see in the dark. It's impressive. Randall says, so we have 8K video recording with the cameras that we both have. He's talking to somebody in the chat, but we will never use it. Yeah. Now that's something that I don't task my computers with, is 4K video footage. All of my videos are shot in 1080p natively, and they're edited as such in post, because your 4K video files are 4 times bigger files. It's 4 times the image information. And for me to capture that 1 or 2 opportunities to punch in, as they say, so that you can crop in the video editing software, and it's like you're punching in with the camera. If you have 4K footage and you export it 1080p, then you've got, you can zoom into 1/4 of the frame and still not lose any resolution. So people use that trick a lot. They actually do. It's pretty common on YouTube for people to just shoot in 4K, and then they can just punch in and out and export in 1080p, and it's kind of like having a cameraman, but you just do it in post. It's kind of a neat trick. But for me, I found I can actually just punch in 5%, and you don't degrade the video enough to notice. No one ever catches it. No one ever says, hey, it looked blurry when you punched in. They don't ever notice. Just 5% is not enough. It can upscale it, I guess is the right word. And it'll work. Let's see here. Oh. All right, I'm gonna move this over for a second. Oh, no, wrong one. There we go. All right. I'm communicating on 3 or 4 different mediums at once, so I have to pay close attention to what I'm doing. If y'all haven't done it yet, hit the like button. Got to make sure y'all said that. Hassan's bailing. Is that what I seen? Oh no, bass angler's bailing. Okay. All right. Oh, he's got the Rona. He's got to go to sleep. Get some rest. Yeah. All right. We'll see you later. Thank you for helping as long as you did. Excuse me. Let's see. Randall said, I knew it was a medium format's what he's talking about. But Leica is so slow in getting their equipment out that a lot of people stopped waiting for it and just bought something else. Yeah, there's that. And I'm pretty convinced that they deliberately restrict production. Like they have very popular cameras here these days. Like people with disposable income are buying more Leicas. It's more common. I mean, even I have them. I have 3 Leicas. You know, I have the CL, the SL2, and the R8 right over there. And I literally just shot a roll of film on the R8 a week or 2 ago. And, you know, it's just, what was I trying to say? It's just like they're getting into the hands of more and more people. They're not as, what do you call it? What's the right word I'm trying to think of here? The sleeper. You know how you got these hot rod cars and no one knows it's a hot rod car? Well, that's kind of what Leica is in the camera world, is that they've got good cameras, but no one knows about them, so no one knows it. They don't. I get people to this day that they see my Leica and they go, "Oh, I've never heard of that." And I just tell them, "Oh, it's German," and they're like, "Okay." But you know, everybody's heard of Nikon and Canon. It's like everybody's heard of Coca-Cola and Pepsi. But like the young generation, they ain't heard of RC Cola. They don't know what that is. You know, it's the same thing. You know, it's a little well-kept secret, you know. Same sort of idea. But yeah, I honestly think they manufacture that scarcity by limiting production. Because, like, they could easily sell so many more M lenses if they just make them. But they won't. They just trickle them out, you know, and it's weird to see that. Randall says YouTube is getting faster in rendering with 4K 60 frames. He said the funny thing is I record in HD 60, which is 1080p, you know, 1920 by 1080, and he upscales it to 4K and no one notices. That's pretty smooth. The software is getting good. The editing software is getting really good at doing things like that. And I think with the whole AI thing coming along, when they can integrate a little bit of an AI algorithm into the software output, that it'll be able to fill in those missing pixels when it upscales better. Like, it'll do a much better job of simply not just matching the color of the pixels next to it, but it'll actually build them in like it should look, and it'll be photorealistic, and you won't never be able to tell it. I'm pretty convinced we're almost there, or we are there. We're close. Real close. I ain't gonna seat that all the way down this time. Randall and Roy are having this awesome conversation about the S-series Leicas. You haven't seen a big camera till you've seen an S-series. They're enormous. They're as big as it's like this R8. You want to see something hilarious? For all measurement applications, these cameras are essentially identical. Now, the quality of the two cameras is a different story, but look at that. Let's see if I can get the angle right, if I can point it at the camera right. You can just see how much smaller the Minolta is over the Leica. They both shoot 35mm roll film. Look at that. Look how much smaller that camera is. It's tiny compared to this monster. I think the Leica will do a few things with the shutter that this one won't, but it ain't much. Yeah. This is the X700 Minolta. It's a wonderful little camera. I've shot some photos with it. It takes beautiful photos. I got two of them. I think one has light leaks, but I don't remember what its story is, but it's down under the bed. I found it the other day cleaning out some stuff. But this one I know is the one that works because I kept it up on the counter so I could shoot with it. I haven't got it out in a long time. Every time I see the Minolta logo, I think about King Japes and his Minolta gang. Randall says, funny how Leica cameras are pre-ordered, back-ordered, or out of stock, but he can find them on eBay for $1,500 over MSRP all day long. Yeah, people won't scalp them or anything, will they? Part of that's the Leica tax. Love my little Manola. Is that the X700? Nick. I see you now, Nick. Yeah. Like I said, there's a second X700 under the bed. I got in this kick and started looking on Facebook Marketplace for them, and I gave nothing for these things. Which, of course, when I went and picked them up, the battery was dead in it, and it wouldn't work. And I was essentially throwing the dice on the camera body working, and I was buying the lens more than anything. And this one is the 50mm f1.7. I think I have a 45mm on the other one. I don't remember for sure. Maybe the 51.4. I don't know. They don't have the same lens on both cameras. But yeah, I got home, took the battery out of it, cleaned up the battery compartment a little bit. I think it had one of them old Mercury batteries in it. And stuck a couple of whatevers in there that were the right voltage, and it came right to life. But yeah, that's a great little camera. I've got a couple more over here. My whole film camera collection that I keep out consists of 4 cameras. This is my Zeiss Icon. I bought this when I was in England last June, a year ago June. We went over there to walk the Pilgrim's Way, which is a 140-mile trek from Winchester, England to Canterbury, England. You go from Winchester Cathedral to Canterbury Cathedral, and that's the trip. And when we were in Winchester, we were there on a day they had like a little flea market through the center of the little town part, the historical town area. Had little pop-up campies and people were selling stuff. And this guy had 2 or 3 of these cameras. And this thing looked brand new. I mean, this is made, I think I looked it up. I think this is a 1956 camera. It was made in the 50s. I think it was 56 was the year of this one. But it's got the original owner's manual. There's a little hard case, fold-up hard case that it was made with. That's why I was in such good shape. It was in that case. So I got it back home, and it has a selenium light meter in it. This little thing here, this little light meter actually still works. It reads on the top, but it's got I think it's selenium is the metal that's in it, and it actually doesn't need a battery to meter the light. And it's pretty accurate. It's pretty close. I used my Sekonic light meter and compared the values, and it was pretty well on. But I I got home and I got to messing with the shutter, and I realized that the shutter was dragging real bad. So I sent it to a boy and had him overhaul it and clean it. And it come back and it looked brand new, and it worked perfectly. Then that's when I learned how tough it is to shoot with one of these cameras. People in the 50s that were taking photos before SLRs existed have my respect. You have to literally guess how far it is to what you're taking a photo of. There's a little distance scale. The littlest ring on the front is the focus ring. The next one up is the, I think is the aperture. No, aperture's in the back. This one is the shutter speed, not the shutter speed, the shutter speed, how long the shutter's going to be open. You set this value on this second dial for the shutter speed, 1/50th of a second, 1/100th, whatever. And then the back one is the aperture, and you set the aperture to whatever the light meter value tells you. And it's got a little built-in device here that kind of tells you the number. You can meter the light, look at your shutter speed and your focus. Well, you look at your aperture, and it'll tell you what to set the shutter speed to. And then you set it to the distance on this outer scale in meters to how far it is to what you're taking a picture of. Then you just hope and pray and take the photo. It's got a little viewfinder, but it's like a rangefinder that don't range find. I took a couple rolls of film with it. It's 35 millimeter, and it takes beautiful photos. It's fun to use once you figure it out and you kind of get comfortable with it, and you figure out like it doesn't set anything. So if you go from the sunny side of a building walking down through a city to the shady side, you have to pull off about 3 stops of light. Because now it's underexposing. You know, if you go into the sun, it's going to overexpose 3. So you got to, you know, and what I was doing, I was using the aperture to control light. And then the shutter speed was my second one to back that up with. If I couldn't get enough out of it with the aperture, I'd adjust the shutter speed. But yeah, that's camera number 3. Camera number 4 is a Canon point and shoot. I never actually owned a really nice point and shoot back in the day when these were the rage. This one is called a Sure Shot Z135. It's 35 millimeter. Takes film just like any of them you see. It's made of nice, good old plastic. It's got some, oh wow, it's juicing up the flash. Get ready for it. Nope, it's still charging it. I didn't know I woke it up, but it did. Oh, it's probably struggling because it ain't got no film in it. It don't have a, wow. No, it won't let me fire it. Hey, the zoom works. Look at that. That would have been a big deal in the 80s. Oh, turn it off. I put batteries in it the other day. Oh, it closed the door by itself. Look at that. You turn it on. You turn it off. I haven't messed with it much if you haven't noticed. This thing is this is a beautiful little point and shoot camera. But yeah, I've been hanging on to this. Like when my daughter goes on photo walks with me, she loves to shoot film. It's just kind of what she likes. She's got one of those Instax cameras, the Fuji Instax. She likes it a lot, but she also likes shooting 35 millimeters. Just, I think it's the romance of shooting film, you know. So I got this, and I kind of hang on to it for if she wants to go. I'll get this out because it's automatic. She just got to point it at it, zoom a little bit, and fire the frame. But yeah, that's my 4th film camera. That's my whole film camera collection that I like. I've got Craig gave it to me. I got 2 Yashica cameras, and they are in the closet. They're actually nice cameras. I just don't shoot on them because those are the ones I grab. The Yashica takes wonderful photos. I don't know if Craig's still in here or not. LOL just answered me. It's the best right after the Nikon FM3A. It's a great machine. Roy says, are there plenty of pubs between Winchester and Canterbury? There's at least one that you'll walk by on every day. At least one. Yeah, there's plenty. Most days we would go by them at lunchtime, and, you know, we hiked nonstop for 2 straight weeks to do the trip. So we'd do about 8 or 10 miles a day, something like that. Some days would be a few more, but for the most part, about 10 miles a day is all we had to do. And if we got a blister or something, we might pull the plug on a little early and get an Uber. Since you're only doing 10 miles, I mean, the Uber will come from the town you're going to and get you and take you back. It's not a big deal most of the time. Occasionally, we would get in a rural area and we'd have a little bit of trouble, but for the most part, we didn't have any problems. I hiked a couple of the long days just to do it, kind of just to say I did it. Like one day I did like 17 miles, and one day I did 15, and I learned real quick that I'm good for about 10. Yeah, after 10, it becomes one of those I'm just gonna do it kind of deals, you know. Roy says, the only cameras I like less than rangefinders are TLRs. The twin lens reflex cameras. I've never shot on one. I've handled one and played with it a little bit, but I've never put film in one shot. I do have some of those old Kodak Brownie box cameras in the living room. I've shot 120 film on them. Before I realized you can actually just trim down the edges of the reels on the 120 reels, I actually saved 620 spools because it shoots 620 film, which the only difference is the reel's slightly smaller. I would go in the bathroom, hang a quilt over the door to kill any light leaks, do it at night so there wouldn't be any light from the outside anywhere slipping into the room. And I would literally, in the pitch black, spool that 120 film off that spool, move it over and roll it up on the 620 spool. It's taped to the spool at the end. Pull the tape off, tape it on, roll it back up, and then put it in the camera, all in the dark. You don't have to put 120 film in the camera in the dark. I didn't know that at the time. I'd go ahead and load the camera completely in the dark, put the box together, and then cut the light on, shoot the roll of film. And then I would take it back in the bathroom after shooting the roll of film. You take the camera apart, you dismantle it to get the film out. And then I would pull that film out to save my spool. I would wind it off of the 620 spool and right back onto the 120 spool I took it off of. And then I would send a note with it when I'd send it in for development. I developed my own the first 5 or 6 rolls. There's a 3-ring binder under here somewhere with all that film in it. But I got to where I was sending it to the lab later because my developer went bad. I didn't know it wouldn't keep. It only lasts so long. And so I sent in a bunch of rolls, and I just sent a note with them that says, ignore the fact that it looks like it's rolled backwards, because I rolled it off the take-up spool and rolled it onto the original spool, so it was rolled backwards. I was like, it's been exposed, don't worry. But yeah. But I thought that was interesting. I'm going to jump back over to actual on subject for a minute. Let me find my mouse. There it is. When you got 3 monitors, you can lose the mouse. But I'm going to switch back over to this cat. I just thought what this boy here was talking about was interesting, you know. I bet I can fix this. Yeah, I can. Look at that. There we go. Now I'm on the other side. But yeah, what this warning he's found, it's noteworthy. It's worth sharing around to your buddies. If you've got friends that have SL3s, they need to check this. Make sure their camera's not doing it. It could just be an error in that guy's camera. And this video is worth giving it a quick watch just to see what he's talking about. But yeah, like I said, it's only 5 minutes. It's not like he's trying to pad the run time. He's actually just bringing a public service announcement, and it was a pretty valid one. Roy says, if I had to walk that far, I'd mug Matt Irwin for his scooter. Oh, Woody's done left. Okay. Let's see. Let's switch this back over. Woody Mallory went to bed, but he remarked earlier that the Z8 was too many megapixels for him. Cropped gives you an actual Nikon crop megapixel, so I cropped Z6 III, and the pics were excellent. Yeah, I've never really worried about that. As long as you got about 10, you've got plenty. Like a 10 will print 11 by 14. 10 megapixels print 11 by 14 easy. They say an iPhone is like 12 natively. Like the new ones have supposedly a 48 megapixel sensor, but they algorithmically, they call it pixel bin it, to where it's 4:1 to create a larger technical photo site, and they use a lot of software to control the camera. But long story short, they shot 12 megapixel sensors for ages, and you could print them 8 by 10 and no one would know it. If you had good light on the subject, you could take iPhone photography and it would be legit, especially if you didn't print over 8 by 10. And lots of people never print bigger than that. That's a big print for a lot of people. You know, like in behind me here, this is a 20 by 30 of Sedona, Arizona on the wall here. No, not Sedona. That's Flagstaff, Arizona, is where that's at. I took that photo at night with, I think that was the D810, and I set it up, done a long exposure with it. They got the photo behind the camera here is of a pier in Pier 14. Actually, it says it right on the sign, in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. At night, they light it up really interestingly. It's got all these different colors of light on it, and it's really well illuminated. And we were on a rooftop restaurant that was right on the beach. And I went and set my Leica CL on the handrail, just kind of held it there and used the handrail to stabilize it, and did a 2-second long exposure, some kind of long exposure to get a good exposure of it so I could keep the ISO down. And I printed it 20 by 30. The 24 megapixel picture out of a crop sensor camera is printed 20 by 30, and it's right there, and it looks fine. Yeah, you don't have to have bunches and bunches of megapixels to get a good photo. No, that's not necessary. Randall says Laura Farms does all of her videos with an iPhone, and her videos are amazing. Yeah. I know a lot of YouTubers that felt that this is their whole production system. Their whole production team out in the field is this. And it's all in how you use this tool. That tool is very powerful. I use it for B-roll. For me, the GoPro is the most convenient video camera in the field. Okay, Alex hasn't had it happen to him himself. Okay, he said I watched the video, but I couldn't remember for sure if it was his camera or if it was his friend. I was remembering him telling that his friend had one that shot weddings, and it was overwriting files on paid shoots, and that's how he found it. Yeah, that's a big problem. That's the kind of stuff you get sued over, you know. Sony ZV-E1 is 12 megapixels, and it's great in full frame and crop mode. Yeah. C2C Disciples in the house. Look at that. Haven't seen you in ages. Well, probably since the last stream, actually. I'm checking some numbers here. All right. Whoops, wrong way. Too far. There we go. Multi-shot mode on a Nikon body. You can shoot up to 32 frames, which the NX software suite can combine into a 96 megapixel image. Wow. They took that page right out of the Leica playbook. My SL2 will do that. But you have to shoot a tripoded. It has to be, well, on the Leica. I don't know about Nikon. Nikon's probably better, and you don't need a tripod. But for Leica, you have to shoot tripoded, and I don't remember how many images it stitches. It's a bunch. I don't think it's 32, but it winds up, you end up with a 180 megapixel image when you're done. I've done it twice just to see if I could get it to make a good photo, and it will absolutely make a massive photo. I don't remember how many megabytes those files are, but they're enormous. Pixel shift requires an absolute still subject and stable tripod. I think that's what Leica's doing. It takes 8 frames. That's how that works, is you have the square is 9 pixels. So what it does is it moves up, takes one, down takes one, over takes one, over, and then it does the corners, and then it stitches those images together to somehow create like a 180 megapixel file, some kind of insane size. And the photos are glorious. Like, you just keep zooming in. It's like, wow. Yeah, you could get the dummy battery and just run a power pack, couldn't you? That's a good point, Randall. Yeah, he was talking about it would reset the counter on the file naming architecture back to 1 every time you change batteries, so that when you started shooting, it would start rewriting those file numbers and overwriting the old photos, which you hadn't removed from the camera yet if you didn't know to pull the card. And it would just basically overwrite the files. It wasn't technically deleting them, it was overwriting them. Yeah. Hasselblad has had pixel shift for years, but it's hard to get right. Yeah. Like I said, with the Leica, it's kind of impractical. It really is. I've used it, like I said, like twice. Once was for a video. I'm pretty sure there was a video where I done that on purpose just to show the feature. And I've never done it to where you can tell it's getting late. Late night live stream runs on. But I did it one more time after that because of some kind of pano or something I was wanting to get a photo of, and I don't remember what it was. It's been a long time since I've done that. But yeah, you can stitch panos together a lot easier. Man, this band is still open. Wow. Wasn't expecting that. Huh. I am not going to show you how I can call CQ, because then I'll get another contact. Yeah, it was just the one. Okay. You can look at the logbook with just opening the log. But, woo. Man, this chat has been lit tonight. You guys have been on point. Is there anything that y'all had a question about that I did not answer, or that you would like an answer to? Like, I also had, let's see, is it on here? No, I moved it. I was also going to chit chat a little bit about the video that I made at Ron's request. Ron's not here. I meant to tell him thank you for mentioning me in his stream. But Ron Durant did a live stream last week where he was talking about, he asked the question, what do people like me who shoot street and architecture in the city, what do we do with our photos? Because I'm not selling them. You don't see them for sale on my website. Yeah, it's getting late. So what do I do with them? Since, what am I doing? To where he is actually capturing wildlife and landscapes, and then he actually is the only photographer I know personally that actually sells his work. He's actually gainfully employed, in essence, selling his photography. So Randall says, do you have a license for a CB radio? No, sir, I do not. That's called 11 meter. Are you still after TM13COL? Yes, I am. I need TM and I need GM. I need both Britain and France. That's the only two I don't have. I got Philadelphia on FT8 earlier when I got Kilo 2 Kilo. Have you been here the whole time, Trey? Picture shift is like AI. It's mostly a marketing thing. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you that one. 7.179. He's in sideband. Dadgummit. Yeah, I may try it in a little bit. I won't be able, I don't think I'll be able to reach Europe on 40 meters. I don't have the right antenna. You need at least like a big delta loop or something, because just a vertical, I don't think I have enough horsepower to project to Europe with it. Yeah. I'm still running my FT8. You can see it over here. Oh, no, you can't. The camera moved a little bit. I had it. There we go. Get the camera back like it was. Because the S-Bit-X was on camera for most of the stream. I forget the fact that this little pedestal mount that this thing's rigged to will spin. Sorry about that. But tomorrow, I'm going to go do a photo walk in the morning. I'll probably do a park activation tomorrow sometime. Most likely, I'll do one at Chickamauga Battlefield National Military Park. There's a spot I can go to on the way to Chattanooga to do the photo walk that I can just pull off right off the side of the road going there, and I can set up and be on the air in 10 minutes, get an activation in an hour, tear it down in 10 minutes, and I can be on in Chattanooga in no time. And that's probably what I'll do. I'll do it early, that way I can beat the heat on the activation and be able to use the lower bands. I'm gainfully retired from photography. That's a good one. It's still my hobby. And it's still, what do you call it? YouTube is kind of one of my hobbies more than it is a job. I do it, like I said, let me see. Give me a second here. I'll take you behind the curtain, as they say. No, I don't need that.
Hey, what's up, guys?
No, shut up. Here's where I want to go. Click the wrong button, it took me to the other channel. Let's go to the analytics tab. This will show you like how profitable it is to operate a YouTube channel. Are you ready for this? Here we go. This is the backside of my channel. Yeah, and this spike you see right here is where I made that little short recently, boring the tube ID in the engine lathe, and I just made a little short while I was running the lathe that day. See how it got 10,000 views? That's kind of going viral for me. And then I did one, I made a rookie mistake, and that was a measurement mistake I was making. And I did it twice before I figured out what I was doing. That was the worst part. Lost about $300 or $400 worth of tubing over that. That got 4,700 views. So that's where this big spike in the view count come from. So this number, this dollar amount that I've earned last month, is artificially inflated because of this spike in views. So it would normally be less than that. It averages about $60 a month. And what I'll do is I have it direct deposited into a checking account, and once it hits a certain threshold, I'll buy a piece of camera gear and use it for the channel. That's how I got the Z50, or this monitor that I added for live streaming, you know. And so the channel kind of pays for itself. And I don't use this extra monitor for anything other than like the live stream chat. And I keep a, what's this other, WhatsApp. I keep a WhatsApp window open on it to chat with Bass Angler and Aaron and a couple of other people. But for the most part, it don't really make much, you know. And it allows me to buy like a used lens once a month or something to shoot with and play with. But yeah, I don't have a very like financially strong channel, you know. So don't think you're going to get 5,000 subscribers and going to be able to live on the money. You absolutely ain't going to be able to live on the money. So, but yeah. Yeah, Trey says, or ham gear. Yeah. But yeah, it's more of a hobby than it is like a job. Like if I was doing this for a job, I'd quit because I would be going broke. That would not be a smart financial decision if this was my job. Randall says, YouTube keeps me out of trouble, but it hurts my pocketbook in buying and not by paying. Shorts get more views always. Yeah. Let me transition back and show you that. If you look, this is your top content in this period. Out of the top 10 videos, all but 3 are shorts. And these shorts go way back in time. Like some of these are old. This one constantly gets views every month. You can see the charting goes up. It's made $1.18 since January 1st. Apparently I uploaded it around December 27th, roughly. December 26th. I must have uploaded it the day after Christmas. And so in 7 months, this video's earned $1.18. But you can see it's gotten 17,000 views. But yeah, it's weird what gets views. But this, where's it at? The Nikon focus settings explained, or yeah, that video has been one of my more popular videos. That one and how to shoot bracketing, and the bracketing's gotten pushed off by shorts. I bet if we was to look at this and pull it down, the bracketing with the Nikon camera video is probably not far. Yep, there it is. How to see the bracketing tutorial. That one consistently gets views every month. I don't know what the deal is with it, but everybody wants to see it. They only watch it for 2 minutes and 6 seconds out of the whole 3.5 minute video. They don't stick around to the end. They'll watch them shorts to the end though. 12-second short, they watch it for 13 seconds. Let's see. I thought I could go back, but there it goes. But yeah, I've uploaded 15 videos in this period. Most of that's shorts and some live streams. You can see all the metrics here. But y'all seen all this content. It's like there's nothing special there that you ain't seen before. But yeah, YouTube isn't like, you gotta understand how to be a successful content creator. Like you gotta understand how YouTube works implicitly to make a living at it. You just can't throw videos on there without understanding them properly and expect it to go anywhere. Unless you just enjoy doing it for a hobby. And I enjoy doing it for a hobby, so that's why I'm still doing it. Because I've been doing this since 17. I've been doing it 7 years on just this channel. C2C Disciple says, I got a niece that graduated and was working for a Fortune 100 company, which is a top tier company, with a master's degree, and quit this year to do YouTube full time. She's got 98,000 subscribers though, but it's the views that count. Yeah, they don't care about subs anymore. Like, that's not the magic anymore. The only thing subs get you is that little plaque you hang on the wall. You know, you get a silver play button at 100, a gold one at 1 million, and a diamond one at 10 million. And, you know, that's all those gain you now. That really, that metric doesn't do any, it isn't value added, I guess is the right word. But if you pay attention to the views, and shorts pays less than long form views, mainly because the commercials are smaller. I believe they make the commercials shorter. Like the longest commercial they'll put on a short is a 5-second ad, and then it ends. You know, there's one of them that plays where it jokes about it. It's like Popeye's chicken or something. It's like, before you can click off of this ad, it's already over, and then it ends, you know, because it only lasts a few seconds. I'm waiting on my wife to blow up and become my sugar mama. 12-second shorts or 12 seconds too long. People love watching them. I don't know why. I put them on the channel occasionally. Most of the time I put them on there just to kind of share what I'm doing. You know, it's more like a post to me that's just video format. Or I maybe share a piece of information I learned right quick. Since I don't like stories because they evaporate. You have to save it on your end, but your viewers can't see it anymore after 24 hours. Like, why would anybody do that? But they do. I don't understand it, but they do. Randall says, over 2,100 videos, and I keep getting more ideas and never run out of content. Oh, dude, I've hit the bottom of the well a time or two. I just ask myself a question, why is this, and then do a video. Yeah, I noticed, man, your upload rate is incredible. I just can't generate the content that fast. My workflow is so slow. I can do one video a day. If I was to make them full time, I would make one a day. And that's shooting and then coming back home, uploading all the footage and photos, editing, realizing I needed a piece of footage that I didn't shoot, going out, shooting said footage, coming back, adding it to the video, completing the video, exporting it, uploading it, scheduling it, making the thumbnail for it, and then writing all of the backside descriptives and information. You know, all that takes a ton of time. I cannot fast track that stuff. I have tried, and it just doesn't work. I get frustrated when I try to rush it. So I just do one. One a day is my limit. But yeah, I've hit points where I just didn't have content. I just couldn't think of anything new. So I would take 2 or 3 months off. You know, there's been a couple of years where I've took the spring off and then come back and start making videos again. Not knowing what they're talking about doesn't stop most YouTubers. Oh, have y'all hit the thumbs up button? I think that's what Bass Angler and C2C Disciple are doing. Oh. All right, guys. It's 10 minutes to 12 here in Georgia. So I'm going to sign off with you guys and go in here and get in the bed and go to sleep, because I am getting up early to go make a video tomorrow. Probably 2. Even though I just said I can do 1 a day, I can shoot 2. I can only edit 1. So what I'll do, David, AI is in your future in editing. They can't edit like me. Now, maybe they can watch all of my videos and see my editing style and mimic something like that, but I get in the weeds on the editing. I love to get in there and tinker with the edit until I get it like just perfect in my mind. I spend way too much time in the edit on the video editor. I just love using the video editor. It's a lot of fun. I don't know why it's fun and photo editors aren't. Maybe it's the interaction, but it's just cool to do it. I don't know why. But yeah, I'm going to probably capture the footage for I have a ham radio channel now that me and Aaron spooled up together. He spooled it up and he brought me in as a second owner, whatever you call it. We both own it, whatever. But I'm going to probably shoot the footage for a video for that tomorrow, and then shoot the footage for the photo walk, and then I'll come home and edit one of them, and then maybe edit the other one Sunday afternoon after church, after we get home from eating. I don't know yet. We'll see. But with that, I appreciate you guys joining in. Let's see here. Glad I caught this one live. Thanks, Dave. Thank you. Like I said, if y'all haven't hit the like button yet, or the thumbs up, or whatever it's called, do that right quick. It does help. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun, guys, and I appreciate y'all coming to the stream. And I'll close with thank you to Greg Cassidy and Greg Magruder for their donations, and Randall for his super chat tonight as well. Thank you so much for that. And you guys, until I see you again, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. Get your camera out and go take a picture with it. All right? Until then, y'all just have some fun with it. All right? Let's see here. Oh, you get to see this now.